Hello everyone, and welcome to my home energy audit video. In this video, I'll be explaining how I conducted my home energy audit and how I was able to use that information to make more energy efficient changes around the home. So for this audit, I split it up into two parts. The first part, which we're going to discuss now, is the lighting audit, and then the second part, which we're going to discuss later in the video, is the plug load audit, which basically just looks at the exact same electrical use as the lighting, but it's just for larger appliances. So as you can see on the top chart, I have the current use for a few of the lighting fixtures throughout the house. Now clearly I didn't get every single one in the house, but I tried to get as many as I could. So as you can see, I have some of the rooms like the living room, the kitchen, the dining room, the family room, a few of the bedrooms, as well as the office. Now the first thing that I wanted to do with that was to count the wattage for the bulbs that were used in those rooms, and then how many lamps and fixtures were used in those rooms. And then with this, I estimated the number of hours per day as well as the days per year that we use those items for. And then with this information, I calculated the kilowatt hours per year, which in turn helped us determine the total cost per year as well as the carbon footprint per year. And the carbon footprint just basically explains the how many pounds of carbon dioxide are emitted each year are they're emitted each year into the atmosphere based on that's use, based on the energy consumption. So as you can see in this bottom chart, I made a few more proposals. So with those proposals, I basically just wanted to reduce the number of lamps and fixtures that we had on during the day, or just simply reducing the number of hours they're used, or just decreasing the number of days that they're used for. I noticed in a couple of the rooms that we had that the lights would just be on for multiple hours without much use, where people just wouldn't even be staying, and then they would just be on for no purpose really. So that clearly was a red flag, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to reduce the number of hours that we had those lights on for, or just how many fixtures in general we had. So moving on to this section of the chart, I have the savings. So as you can see, just for those few fixtures that I had counted, we approximately spent $166 per year. But for the new charts, we would only be spending, with the proposed use, obviously, we would only be spending $110 per year just for those few fixtures, which is about a saving of $56, which actually isn't too bad considering we'd be making these really small minor changes. But when you look at the carbon dioxide reduction, that's a big number. We'd be saving about 706 pounds of carbon dioxide each year just by reducing the number of hours we had those lights on for, or just how many hours we had on in general. Now, on the far right end of the table, we see something called the simple payback. Now, the simple payback basically explains how many years it takes for somebody to get their money back on something. Now, in my case, I didn't change any of the lights because we already had um, incandescent lights. So I basically just measured it based on the total cost difference in comparison to some lights that I saw at Lowe's, which are LEDs. And the simple payback just basically is determined by the total cost difference over the savings difference. So as you can see, for some of the fixtures, it ranges from, less than a year to one of them being almost 6 years, but it just all depends on the fixture itself. So moving on to the plug load audit, we see some of the larger appliances that we have on in the house. So I have some of the items, and they include the TV, the cable box, the refrigerator, some table lamps, the coffee machine, the ceiling fan, as well as the home phone. Now, these items we typically have on about 24 hours per day, but for some of them, obviously, it's less, as you can see in the chart. But even then, even though we don't use them for very long periods of time, they're usually plugged in throughout the day, 24/7 basically. So as you can see, just from those, I'd say 7 items, we use about 9,073 watt hours per day. And this costs alone $472 per year, which is also about 6,000 pounds of carbon dioxide just for those few plug load items. So for my proposed use, I tried to do the same thing as I had done with the lighting audit. So that would just be simply reducing the number of hours we had those items for. Now, clearly, I wasn't able to unplug them because we need those items for our everyday use. So I just reduced the number of hours we had them on per day, as well as the number of days um, we had them on per year. Like the coffee machine, I was obviously able to reduce because we don't make as much coffee. Um, so as you can see on this bottom chart, I have the savings. And it basically just shows you we save about 689 kilowatt hours per year if we make these simple changes with these plug load items, which is about $104, which actually isn't too bad for these items. And it saves about 1,309 pounds of carbon dioxide from going into the atmosphere, which is a pretty impressive number if you ask me. Now, one of the main concerns that I had with completing this energy audit was whether or not my family would be able to go along with it. So I spoke to my parents as well as my older siblings, and they said they would all try their best to, turn off the lights once they leave a room, or if they see some lights on in a certain room, that they turn them off. So I'd say I'm pretty confident in actually sticking through with this plan with our proposed use. But I just hope that it all works out in the end. And that's basically it for my home energy audit. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.